Okay. As you start to head off into the open waters, we're currently still in, you know, a little bit of a clusterfuck of lots of ships leaving and entering dock. William?
Yeah, I'm sending the stable master a message that says that, which is, we need to leave our horses at the stables for a time. What's the cost for care per month? You have 25
Per
months.
month. That's a math right there.
Yeah.
The reply is just 15 gold.
Oh.
Okay, I'm gonna send him.
So
another...
it would be 45 gold, because 3 of them.
Yeah, per month.
I was about to say, isn't there 4 of them? But right,
No, one of them turned to snow.
Yeah. That's
and
actually
I'm
not that
going
bad.
to send another message.
Like when
that
you were
says-
describing that, I was totally just picturing like, and the horse just disintegrates.
Yeah.
But
I like that this dude just 15 gold. He knew exactly what was happening. He was just like,
Oh, he might not necessarily know what's happening, but he can go along with it.
He knows how to answer a question. This is just
Yeah,
customer
this is
service.
just a question. Yeah.
He's good at his
Exactly.
job. It's
this
fine.
is a question being answered by someone who's never used a phone before. But like,
He's good at his job. He's probably spoken to spirits. This is not that different. And
There's
by
some
spirits, I mean
right now, if you know what I
as
mean.
one does.
he's probably like looking for you, like, where the fuck?
Okay, so the rolls on this here yonder ship. As you're heading out into autumnal waters. During the day, it's Tobias and Laren most of the time. Barut a little bit. Tobias, you are going to be making me a dexterity check because you do not have proficiency being a rigger. You can use dexterity for rigging or strength, but I'll let you do dexterity. Awesome. Barut, you will be making wisdom checks for your navigating. And feel free to give me your first one now. Varric, you would also make dexterity. And
Okay.
Aelnor, you can make me either a strength or
Oh,
charisma.
come on!
Strength or charisma, whether you're rigging most of the time or occasionally basically pointing these people around.
I mean, I'd probably be doing a little bit of both.
Yeah, it's just it's a system for every week of travel, so basically just choose one to represent, you know, whichever one's better, honestly.
Oh, this one's not better, but I'm gonna do it anyway.
Yeah, cool. As
Hey,
you
look!
set off-
What?
Yeah, as you set off, the sea is a place that Virik finds uneasy.
The dice know.
When you're getting further and further away from water, because the wind kicks up in the sails and you really start to move. Yeah, Virik's used to moving fast, but usually he's in control of it. When the ship moves very fast... Oh, I'm not going to say you fall off the ship. That's what you're waiting for. No. Is there a situation where you nearly fall off the ship? Yes, many times. But this is over a week of travel, right? But you're in an area where all you can see is blue, and you can sometimes see through down the water, and the sky is vast. It's just very vast. For someone who's, sure, you've been spending a lot of time in the north, but you grew up in caverns and tight buildings.
North is
Gives
usually
you a bit,
overcast.
yeah, it gives you a bit of agoraphobia. Plus, you're just not good at this kind of movement. You're fast, but you don't really understand what has to be tied. You're not actually even that good at knots. You're not set for this. This is not your future career path. You aren't even really making do. It's one of the things where Barut is more often doing your job for you. What is useful is that you can see in the dark. The fact that the night shift is all people with dark vision means that there's no lanterns on the ship at night, which is very valuable because you're traveling through pirate routes. But during the day, you're just as much a target. When it comes to the rest of you, Tobias actually understands it pretty quickly. Tying ropes, easy. Stuff like that. Sure, it takes you a while to understand, like, how to rig and tack sails and stuff correctly. But you get it. You're one of those people
Like
that when
a fishing boat, but
yeah.
bigger.
When you've done it a few times, you understand it. Barut has done this all before. He can read the stars. You've set a route that if you're going to have good waters and you do your job properly, should take you around a month and a half.
And part of watching the stars is that I'm paying attention to what the weather will be like ahead of us, so if we need to reroute...
Exactly. That's part of the job. And it's one of those things I've described before. In Jarviskjir, autumn is one of the safest times to sail as well. The waters don't get a lot choppier in both the summer and the winter. So autumn and spring are your preferred... If you want to travel fast, they're your preferred months. And Aelnor is good at bossing people around. Doesn't understand how the ship works, but is like, we need to go that way, we're going that way. She understands that half of her job is you turn the wheel, the ship turns. It's basic concept, but mostly she can boss people around to put things simple enough that Virik can understand them and Tobias. All that sort of stuff. It's a good time.
We really missed our calling as like a sea campaign group.
Hey, there's still time.
We could all become pirates. It could still happen. Look,
I was just saying in chat, if anyone was gonna get a 1, at least like me falling off the rigging, it's highly unlikely I'll take damage even if I fall out of the crow's nest.
Exactly. It's one of those things that like you got in a situation that might be the death of someone else. And Laren's like, oh, we're gonna have to cut him down and then send a prayer, and you're like, just drop. You're like,
Okay, try again. Climb up.
Yeah. Awesome. It's actually after around a week of travel that you get another sending, Mr. Barut from Von Bast.
Oh, good.
I'm just trying to check what it's going to be. The message that you get from Von Bast via your magical sending connection. So one of the things, like I said, you basically have a schedule. If you're going to talk to each other, you're going to talk to each other this time. He says, I have... Oh no, I'm giving away the game. Researched further. The Gatestone has something to do with something called Drim. It does not translate. You should inquire.
Okay. In return, I will say, acquired a ship traveling to Estana from Aradia. Speak soon.
Cool. Awesome. Any other kind of sendings that you would? I imagine you send similar things to Kindle as well. Actually,
To Kindle, I touch base with Hurl Giant. How's the fight?
The reply you get is pretty much what you expect. The fighting's good.
Yeah.
And because he doesn't understand, it like ends there. And
Yeah.
he doesn't understand how sending works, even though you told him.
It's more, I'm just mostly checking that he's alive right now.
Yes.
That's the main thing, and then I will touch base with Kindle, let her know that Hurl
Let
Giant
you know
is
you're
alive,
on the way, and Helljohn's alive.
our
All
way.
the things, yeah, exactly.
etc., etc. Also, that we've stabled our horses in Aradia for 15 gold a month.
And she says that's good prices.
Yeah. Yeah. And like throughout the journey, like I'll be touching base as well, but I'll also occasionally send a message to Cherubin, to Caldicus, and also again to Von Bass as well, but touching base if I learn anything through my readings and my research.
Yeah,
Same deal.
So that's actually something you could totally, if you guys have, if you two elves have any sort of memories you want to try and dive into relating to this, you have a period of travel. If you want to try and start doing this, let me know. It's one of those things you are spending weeks and weeks at a time. I can essentially give you like one success on if you want to go back and of the ritual, you know, because you try it a lot of the time and you haven't perfected it, but you're trying every night, you know.
There's something that I want to do. And I don't know if this is possible because it's kind of a lateral step.
You ask a question away, my friend.
I would like to try and revisit the experience that I had when I lore keeped on the Dragonstone and see if I can get more information out of it.
You can. You've been spending a lot of time learning how to dreamwalk. It is not something that comes easily. It is something that people, ironically, even followers of the Dream Goddess usually perfect in the last years of their life. This feels different to a dreamwalk. A dreamwalk is almost like a lucid dream where you can sometimes make things different than how they happened in reality. Like how Virik asked a question to someone that he cowered from before. When you look back on the memories that the dragon sign gave you, you're never in control of them. They're almost burning in your mind. But you get much more of a lucid glance at them. When you first interfaced with the dragon sign, it was all at once. Although you lived it, it was still all at once. Now you can actually go back and you can take your time to go back through the memories. And actually, there is one memory that seems to burn most, near the start. The memories are of the construction of the ring that locked away the elementals. But of the eyes of the dragon you see, and when in these memories you are a mithril-skinned dragon, but is never referred to by any kind of name. You do...
I was just going to ask, is there any speech throughout as well?
Yeah, okay. These ones now, you're actually... Before, they seem deliberate. Sights, scenes, events. Now you're getting much more. Maybe it's just because you're understanding more, because you're dreamwalking, things like that. But this whole moment, this moment you do when you do this memory, this dreamwalk, you are seeing the ring. Not fully completed. The ring is in place, but the elements of it are not fully put together. But before the ring, with all the dragons working on this, and it's very strange because you're seeing things at the scale of a seemingly very, very big dragon. But even then, this ring is very large to a dragon. Another dragon is chained up before him, almost muzzled, but chained up in ways that could limit a dragon's movement so it can essentially just be pulled along by other dragons. This dragon has a sort of sandy skin tone, and has 4 horns that kind of spread out from the back of its forehead. And you, in this dream, say, "We shall allow him last words before he is banished. This betrayer of worlds." Like, they remove the muzzle from him. It's like essentially screwed out of his flesh to be removed. And someone else who seems to be some sort of priest is like, "Koradesh, betrayer of realms, what last words do you have before we get rid of you and your people?" And Koradesh just spits on the ground, but it's a dragon, so it's essentially like a flame jet of fire and hot sand. And then clears his throat and says, "I regret nothing. We are the intruders here. This is like rendering the beasts from the land, an act that you deem so vile, and this is just the same. Mark my words. You can lock us away, but you cannot destroy us." And someone's like, "Silence him!" They literally cast silence on him. And you will say that, as you love the primordials so much, you will spend eternity alongside them, locked away in their prison. That is what your kind deserve. And you, with the spell, place the gate stones in place. The portal is activated, and everyone else braces. But they cut the chains keeping him down, and he is into the portal, and it is closed very quickly. And that's where the memory more or less ends, with the dragons cheering and chanting in victory. That's when you wake up on a rocking ship.
was different. I'm gonna go to Vieric. Because are you
you guys meditate at the same time, so yeah.
Yeah.
He's probably
Right,
trying
yeah.
to dreamwalk as well. Whether he's successful, we'll go back in a bit and decide.
Yeah.
If he's just still meditating, I won't disrupt him, but I'll just wait for him, basically.
You guys work together a lot. There's been, I imagine you have essentially you wake up at more or less the same time, you know?
Yeah.
Did you have any success?
Did I?
That's up to you, depending on what you're trying to
Okay.
dreamwalk.
What I would have wanted to dreamwalk back to is the day of the auction.
Okay. You would have had success this night then. Must have just been a blessed night, you know? But yeah, we'll go back
Okay.
to it after this tour.
Yeah. Okay. I'll just say. Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
I did as well.
Oh, okay.
Do you remember the
Yeah, the dragon
yeah.
scratch thing.
I'm glad you know what I meant when I just waved my hand like that. It's very good.
Big thing.
Yeah, we've clearly been working together for far too
Yeah,
long.
yeah.
Yes, I relived the vision that I had through that. I wasn't sure that would work. It seemed almost too transcendental for even this, but
I mean, if they were memories that were put in your head, they're still memories.
I suppose so.
And that memory was not in the dragon signs visions. Maybe glimpses of it, but you didn't see that in particular.
It was new. Not the same.
Oh.
Expanded on, maybe. Not really sure. A
Anything useful?
sand-scaled dragon sucked away into a portal.
Into the
Portal,
big one.
Snake Cove. The big one.
Traitor? Maybe?
Betrayer of Realms was the title he was bestowed. Seems
How
like
long
a
do
delightful
dragons-
fellow.
How long do dragons live?
Nature check. Both of you.
Is this gonna go so well?
I know I don't know, but that's okay.
It's one of those things you might have read about it.
We actually
You
might-
actually both know, because here's the thing.
We-
It's not
we
like
looked
people
up
do
dragons.
studies about dragon lives. It's just that there are stories of dragons essentially living forever. In Jarviskjir, and how you know this is like through tales and things. Dragons don't die of old age. They get bigger and stronger the longer they live.
Oh no.
They potentially could live for a fucking long time. But Barut does know, ahead of this, that the age of dragons he's seeing... There are no dragons from that age, because otherwise they would be... The age wouldn't have ended. You know? At least that's what you believe. If there are, it would be very unlikely. So maybe it's one of those... It's like one of those things with, like, yeah, elves can live forever, but usually they live around 400, 600 years. Probably a similar thing is what you guys would imagine. But there's stories of dragons living entire ages, you know?
Well, it's another reason not to let that thing open, I think.
Yes, I think if we let it open, we'll have a world-ending situation on our hands. That dragon, if it exists, and if time and space and age works the same way that it does here, on that plane, which is totally a variable that we can't possibly account for, and, you know, regardless, if things work like they do here, and he is aged as long as it has been since the Age of Dragons, to put it politely, the primordials aren't what we need to worry about.
Oh. Well, let's make sure that doesn't happen then.
It's also something of note in Barut's studies. It's possible to make yourself live forever. Improbable, but possible. Some routes are perhaps quite dark, but possible. There's usually caveats, but
Yeah. I won't note that. Because that's not something that Vieric needs to know about at this point.
I can live forever.
Potential danger there.
So, why don't we backtrack a bit and, Virik, you successfully dreamwalk back to the auction at Von Bast's. When you, what do you want to change? What do you want to do while you're in that memory? Because the memories take place, but you can change them at points.
Yeah, I want to follow Brazen Storm from the second she comes through the portal. I want to follow her. I want to watch her. I want to try and listen to what spell she's casting, what actions she's doing with her hands. Mainly, I want to know what spell she's casting to do the perception thing, where people didn't see it.
Okay.
Because I want to figure out a way to stop that.
Ironically, give me a perception check.
Yep. Oh, it's a 3.
Oh.
It's one of those things that this memory is not entirely pleasant. You nearly died on this day. And the memory is almost corrupted by you falling. No matter what, you feel like you're falling, and you end up trying to pay attention to her, trying to break away, but always getting snapped back to the memory's path. And you can't get out of the memory either until you are teleported high above the air. But this time you don't save Barut's life. You don't have time, and you awake with a sickening crack to Barut checking if you've woken up, which would of course settle you back. But yeah,
that actually works with how he said, where he said, "I think it worked."
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I didn't.
But
learn it.
There's more time because you have more time on the ship.
And it was unpleasant. I went back to the auction.
Trying to figure out her magic?
Yeah, I don't like the fact that she can make people not see her.
I don't like that either. But I imagine that's something that we won't be able to figure out very easily. Not necessarily from memories.
No, but if we can find a way to negate it or stop it, I'm worried that we got lucky that we were able to see her that time.
Maybe. We should look at what Von Bast was looking at. How he saw it.
That's not a bad idea. I'll focus on that next time.
Give it a go. We have many more attempts.
Yes, that's true.
Okay.
Oh.
Everyone give me your sailing checks again.
Hey, that's more like it.
That's more like it.
I think I rolled the exact same thing.
She's still yelling.
She's still yelling.
We're just getting tired of it, I guess.
Yeah.
We're all just doing our jobs properly, so there's not much else to be yelled about.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. And now that she's just a helmsman, she's not as good as it. She's better at the bossing people around. But during this week, while you're while those two are meditating, while it's the day shift, Tobias, you see a ship turning towards yours. Now you're so far out in the open waters, seeing other ships is possible, and you always make note of it just in case. But this is one of those things where that ship clearly sees you, and you can actually even see the slight glint of a spyglass, and then seems to turn and move quite quickly towards you, quicker than seems natural, but then you don't know much about boats.
I'm gonna whistle at my friends here and get their attention and point in that direction. Be like, there's a ship. It's coming towards us.
Laren is sailing at the moment, and she will actually pull out a spyglass of her own from like a little cubby near the helm, and we'll check, and we'll just be like, shit. You said you fight, right?
I imagine we would come up from lower deck.
Yeah, you hear the telltale whistle of shit going down.
Burrow is in armor, and his shield is on.
Just for the hell of it, I'm gonna see if I sense any monstrosities within 5 miles.
You do,
I actually
and they're
would
coming
just-
towards you
From
Yeah.
said ship.
from the ship.
Shit.
Oh.
Is this fucking Sahagins again?
Why
I'm
would
gonna be real-
Sahagins have a ship?
Why wouldn't
so
they? Because they're stealing shitty
Terrible.
things. Who knows?
first,
I just don't want to see Aaron go on a rampage again.
If you want to
okay?
give me a perception
I will
check,
murder everyone.
if you want to give me a perception check to try and see the ship, more than just there's a ship, feel free to like prepare.
Wow.
Virik is going to turn to
Oh.
Laren.
Oh, those Sahagins!
Oh,
Virik's going
it's
to turn to Laren and say, "Okay, so I'm going to do something now. Don't be surprised." And he's going to vanish.
yeah, this is the time for conjuring. Yeah. And he's like, I don't know if he's still here. Did he?
He's still here.
I'm still
it's
here.
fine.
Oh, I thought he teleported on their ship. That would have been really,
you know,
that would have been really useful around now.
wouldn't have put it
No,
past
but
him.
if they get close
Shit,
enough, I
I
can
need
get
to, I need to get my armor on, take the helm, steer away from them, but honestly, they will catch up to us, and she will.
I'm gonna also
Don't
say
give them our broadside. If we can at least keep just our tail towards them, they can't fire down at us at least right away.
Exactly. See, he knows what's going on, and she will go down into the captain's quarters and change.
I'll tell the rest of the group and our lovely captain here, just like there's something not human on that ship.
Yeah, no,
Ah,
no, that ship's coming from the north. She like steps on her chainmail.
North? Just you hear the question come from nowhere.
Yeah, the north.
Like how far north? Because we're from the north.
From Watcher's Isle.
No, like she like pops her head out the window, like half chainmail on, like, no, from Watcher's Isle. No, there's nothing on Watcher's Isle. No, they're from
good.
the you know the.
Oh fuck! Out of character, I think I know what this is.
Because you guys are from the north, yeah, but like that's just a sea
Oh.
breeze.
Let's
They're
load
from
up the
across the
greater
North
map
Sea.
and the. I wouldn't know this. So
No,
I'm not
you
gonna
wouldn't.
say.
You don't even have a map that big.
Yeah, no, I know. No.
She'll just say they're from across the North Sea. That's going to be a ship filled with best case scenario gnomes, worst case scenario minotaur, bird people, dragonborn that don't trim their claws.
Good. What weapons do you have on board?
We don't got a cannon.
Not asking for cannons.
She'll come out with a crossbow in one hand and an axe in the other. Like, I just got mine.
All right. Good. This will be fun. Well, let's avoid them as long as we can.
Here's
Prepared
a
to be
crazy
boarded.
idea.
I'm gonna climb up the riggings a little bit and just hang there invisible.
Here's a crazy idea. And by crazy, I mean I think this is what we should do. We should all lie in wait and counter ambush them.
Yeah, I like this
Laren,
idea.
you say that, and Laren like is getting back up to the wheel and is like, "It's honestly a great idea. There's Minotaur on them on that ship. They're gonna board us."
Exactly. If we can't outrun them and we know for sure they're going to board us, we should hide, lay as many traps as we can, tilt things in our favor as much as we can,
Agreed.
and then at the opportune moment, strike first and strike hard.
I wish I had you in my mercenary band. And she'll like, she will go and take a key and unlock a lock you never saw in the top deck that opens into a smuggling compartment that is has some stuff in it, some sacks.
I am going to go on the top deck of the ship and just take a couple bundles of arrows, 8 arrows altogether, and start kind of planting them innocuously between like the boards of the ship,
Yeah.
and also casting a spell while I do so.
Mm-hmm.
This spell, to be exact. I'm going to cast it twice.
You
Oh, you know what?
yeah, and it's a ship. Those are like overlapping circles. So, who wants to hide where? If you're hiding in the smuggling compartment or
before we
invisible, you
do
get
that-
advantage on a stealth roll. Exactly.
Just to make sure.
I
I'll hide
Do
in
we
the
have
smuggling compartment for sure.
Do we have a minute before this before they board?
That ship's moving very fast, and you started to set things up, so probably not.
Okay, then not a problem.
35.
Yeah, stealth rolls with advantage if you're in the smuggling compartment. Regular if you're just hiding
That's
on
the
the.
plan.
I get advantage because I'm
29.
invisible, right?
Yes.
And it's plus 10 to whatever
Plus
we
10.
roll, right?
Yep.
Ooh, thank goodness for that. Oh,
Perfect.
It's
no,
a
sorry,
natural one.
I shouldn't be at advantage. I should be at normal. Let me reroll
That's
that.
true. You got big
Yeah,
hunking
I've got
armor.
big
Wait.
old armor on.
Oh, you're not hiding in the thing. You're just hiding on.
No,
deck,
he's
Ellen?
got big armor on as well.
I've got big armor on,
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
so I can't clank around too much. But that is a 20 now.
20 still.
Well,
Eleanor-
they're going to see one person on the ship.
Well, Eleanor can distract them. This is
When
fine.
She's the
this-
one you want them to go for. So
This
when
is
the
fine,
ship gets
actually.
closer, only one who can see it is Virik. This ship is almost barbaric in its design. The tusks of large creatures similar to mammoths are strapped to the side, giving it a bit of like a battering potential. It has cannons. It's not much bigger than yours. And when it comes up, and it doesn't have a black flag, it has like a red speckled flag that has probably been painted with blood. When it comes up close, 3 Minotaur swing onto the deck. And then, the second they land,
Arrows are going off, and they both have to make a deck save. 2 deck saves if they overlap.
they all have to make 2 deck saves. Yeah, absolutely.
It's not a super high DC. I think it's 12 or 11. Yeah, it's 12.
So that's cool. The second they are swinging, one of them, and you don't fully understand their language, but they clearly grunt and groan, and these Minotaur pirates, they look like they're about to just swing and launch, but one of them like says something and they kind of hesitate and they have the back swing, and then they land, they like throw like a rock that sets off the first one. You're like, yeah, alright, good. And then they launch, they land down a second time, and that time 2 of them fail.
Okay, so that's 2 arrows hitting 1 guy.
Yeah. 2 guys hit by 1 arrow. but-
Okay, so 1
the
damage and
same
4 damage, respectively.
Exactly.
So that's 3 arrows total that have gone off. I just need to keep track of it for my...
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. So there's still 7 left. Sorry, there's still 5 left.
Yeah, and then all 3 will land on the ship, and they'll start poking around, and this is when they get their little checks. And they start poking around, and with their weapons, knocking things over. And these are very much pirate minotaurs. One of them straight up has a peg leg. They're wearing garb that is either stolen from other people. One of them has what looks like someone's flayed face kind of drabbed into their armor. They are barbarians. When they're kind of poking around, they'll yell back to the other ship, because the ships are side by side and actually slightly, not necessarily tied together, but clearly working as hard to keep it together. One will call back, and in common, like, "Ain't no one on here!" And from the ship, which Virik can see, it seems to be the helmsman, who is a bird person, it seems, who seems to be weaving magic. There's no wheel. He's weaving like a ball of magic in his hands. It's like, "There is someone on that ship. I can sense them. You will keep searching. Split it apart if you have to."
Can I see the anchor on the other ship?
Perception check with advantage, because height. Yes! It's behind that Aarakocra,
Okay.
who is the bird person.
Is it? How does it work? Like, how does it look like something I'd be able to like pull? something and
So
drop?
on like your ship, it's a lever. On theirs, it looks like it's all the chain is like launched up around a wheel, and it's currently is like tied in place by what looks like a leather band that someone would cut. And it would...
Okay.
Because it seems that they don't use the anchor as much as you would, because it seems like that guy is controlling the passage of the ship with magic, right?
Yeah.
So, in theory, if you can sneak on there behind him and cut it, they would go anchors down.
That's what I think I'm going to try and do.
Give me another stealth check, still have advantage.
Okay.
Ooh, I'm getting hungry.
So that's 35, right?
Yep, 35.
It's one of those things you jump, like, you have the height advantage. You jump from the crow's nest of the late retirement onto the Mother's Horn ship. And the Aarakocra does seem to flinch slightly and hesitate the ball of magic, but then it continues weaving because the ship starts to veer, and it's like, and has like its wings spread out to feel the wind in them. You can land behind it right by this thing, and now all you need to do is cut it, preferably quickly, which means strength.
I'm going to
check.
cut it and jump.
Strength
essentially.
check, please.
Oh, strength check? Okay.
Yeah, it is a design used by Minotaurs. It's a thick, like, leather binding.
Yep. Oh, that's the one to roll it on.
That's the one. You want that? Yeah, that's better than like a 20 initiative, right? You
Yeah.
and it just starts to go, and the
I would
anchor
immediately
lowers,
jump.
and you jump back onto the other. It's one of those things you don't even need to jump back onto the deck. You can jump into the captain's quarters through the window because this ship's starting to like veer down. And as the anchor goes, it's one of those things. The Minotaur, they grunt and groan in their language, and they seem quite frustrated, and they will leap back onto their ship. And you hear in common, it seems they need to speak in common back to each other. And you hear it like, "Why are you getting back on the ship?" Like, "You're stopping without us. We're going with you." Like, "I'm not stopping the ship. My magic isn't working." I was like, "The anchor's gone down." Like, and it's starting to just be in your wake as that's happening. And you get back on the ship as you're starting to get a bit of a lead on them. Though you're probably going to have to start sailing.
The second I see that we're getting a lead, I would immediately just I saw where the compartment was. Just go. I dropped the anchor. Let's go.
Awesome. Everyone, give me your sailing checks, please.
Since presumably she's giving commands now, can I like work the deck?
Yeah,
and
do
make
give me a strength, please.
I like the idea that I'm still doing this invisible just to hold up my invisibility.
Oh, sorry, I rolled a disadvantage.
Yeah, no, re-roll it.
Oh,
Awesome. You immediately set to like turn the sails to get the best wind, turn in such a way that you can just start going. And with Aelnor also helping, it's one of those things where like Virik is usually like, "Oh, okay, gotta start turning this wheel." Aelnor goes over and is like, "This rope needs to be down." And like the whole sails like unfurl.
I imagine at one stage she does that and you just hear a thump. What?
It's like Virik's like on the ground, invisible, yeah. And you leave them in the dust. That ship behind you gets more, and even when they manage to raise their anchor, they're so far behind you that when it starts to get dark and you don't travel by lantern light, though Laren stays up a little later, but she's just like, "I'm staying at the wheel and you can tell me if we're crashing to anything." There's starlight and stuff. You get completely away, and you did a real good job. That was cool as hell.
Well done.
I played enough Sea of Thieves to know that.
I know, that's exactly what I was thinking.
Literally what I was just picturing. If you were playing Sea of Thieves, you drop anchor at full speed and the ship just like lurches and rips sideways. It's a bad time.
Damn right.
Yep.
Please give me your sailing checks again. And
I'm consistent.
Barut, give me a perception check. Not Barut, Virik, the other elf.
Oh, yep. Oh, that's a 6. I'm too busy like celebrating my victory.
Also give a perception check.
Well, the question is, Barut,
Yeah.
what are you trying to dream about?
Oh, dang it.
Yeah, you thought you were
I
looking
realized
for
now
a
what
real
that-
thing. You weren't looking
Yeah.
for a real thing. It was inside you all along.
Given that Virik and I had talked about going back to the auction and looking to see whether Bombast, what he was seeing, specifically tracking his eyes and then tracking what he was watching to determine what he was essentially trying to figure out was the important part of...
In which case, give me a perception check.
Okay.
Unlike last time where you were dreaming side by side, this is over the whole week.
Yeah. It's the
You
same
have
roll.
a hard time dream walking accurately again.
Yeah.
But that's one of those things. Virik actually has an easier time with it than you have. Just in general. It's like you understand the theory, he just seems to connect to it a little better. So
Yeah.
you don't see anything.
No.
Hey, why don't you all give me those sailing checks again?
I
How
keep
well
wanting
you
to
do can
dexterity
cut time
save.
off your travel. Is the idea.
Every time I do that, I want to reach for the dexterity save because it's 6. But no. Oh, she's still yelling.
You guys are getting much better though.
Mm-hmm. You're doing a great job.
And you two give me perception checks again.
Okay.
Oh, yep.
The seas are mostly just open. It's one of those things, actually. You know what?
That's better.
It would have been a while. It would have been a couple of weeks ago, but the Watcher's Isle. Brute, did you give me a perception check?
No, not yet, because you paused and you said you know what, so I was
no.
just
Do
waiting
the
to see
roll.
if you
Do the
could
roll.
something else.
It's irrelevant.
Hey, holy fuck.
You actually have a... It's one of those things you don't dream walk every night, Barut, because it's not as restful, right? And also, you know that indulging too deeply in it is not good for you. Something you don't necessarily tell Virik as much as maybe you should.
Luckily, Virik is probably less inclined to do it too often after experiencing
Falling and
splat.
dying,
Well,
yeah.
Realizing that they can go that way, he's like, okay.
It would have actually been
Okay.
last week, when you actually see Watcher's Isle on a distance. You see a landmaster at a distance, and you ask, and Laren's like, oh, there's no reason to go there, there's no docks. And Virik asks, it's an island, isn't it? But you have a different dream. You have a dream of the dragon flying. And you understand land masses in a way different to people. Barut does. So you just can tell that the island you're seeing from above is the Watcher's Isle. You just know. And when it lands, it doesn't land on the island itself because you've always been told that there's nothing on the island, but there is something on the island. There's a tower. It looks like a long ivory tower that stretches up into the clouds. He swoops above the clouds and lands on a plinth at the top of the tower where there's statues that kind of swoop and arc over each other. When you land, you hear a voice of a female dragon say, Bivwim, you have come to me. And you, seemingly Bivwim, reply that I come seeking advice on how to keep the peace. And my king created you to keep the peace. And before you, even though you are a grand ancient dragon, the dragon is much larger, almost a serpent-like dragon, like a Chinese dragon, with jade scales over every part of its body that glitters and shines in the sunlight. Almost feels divine. And the respect of it you feel back is divine, but also a little bit more of a one-to-oneness. You're literally talking to a god, it seems, or a demigod or something of the sorts. But then the dream sort of fades away. But that's what you do see during one of those periods.
That is not something I would share. Not right away. Not until I learn more about it.
Cool. Virik, you managed to get back to that dream without having nightmares. And you can tell that Carl, the wizard, the mage of the Souls of Shireen, is casting a spell constantly while walking around. She casts spells via these very small flicking finger motions. Very similar to how elves often twitch slightly in their sleep. Very small finger motions that seem to be repetitively keeping up this spell that is affecting people's memories. Now, Barut, when you go back into that dream, you go back, and when you left smelling the air of home, and it's very hard to resist the compulsion to go back to that scent. Scents trigger memories, pleasant and otherwise, but you resist, and you go to the auction room, and when these people walk into the auction room, you see Von Bast, who's up on the stage, but not currently. He wasn't the host of. He was the host of the auction. He wasn't doing the auctioning, but he was on stage, standing there. Von Bast, a half elf. But you see him immediately notice them when they come into the room. But then you hear a voice behind you saying, "Impotent young Drake, I see through your illusions." And you no longer see him as a half-elf. You see Von Bast as the dragon he actually is. Sort of like an illusion around him. The dragon inside. This grand, large, black dragon with these piercing green eyes that cut through the room. But it doesn't seem to see you, and things seem to play out as they would have. And it's not like people are like, it's a dragon. It's just that you're seeing through the memory of him. It seems that he just sees through it. Maybe it's because he's powerful. Who knows? Maybe there's some sort of magic in his eyes that cause them to glow as they do. But very unsettling. In dragon form, there's no pupils. There's just acidic green blazing from the holes. And black dragons, their faces almost resemble skulls painted in charred black. It's pretty scary. But yeah, that's what you have. That's the memories you when you dreamwalk over the next few weeks.
Good.
Yeah.
Well, I will inform Varric that we were correct, that Von Bast is a dragon.
Technically wrong, because I thought green dragon.
It's got green eyes.
Green eyes?
That's the green eyes are what I thought. Yeah, but no. And I will inform Brute about the fact that she has to constantly cast it. And then if we can interrupt her, and she has to do the hand motions, it appears. So we can rid her of her hands.
Oh, you do know that I like that is a method.
It wouldn't be the first time.
Yeah. It's apparently our way of dealing with mages.
It's the way that elvish governments deal with unruly mages.
Yeah.
So
fair enough.
don't
So
get caught in an
brutal.
elvish city, Varric. You won't
Oh,
last long.
Cut off your feet.
Yeah.
All right.
You can't run
While
from
you're
the
planning
wall.
that, why don't you guys give me another sailing roll? So far,
Varric-
you are behind time, but that's fine. Luckily, that was a good week. Give me another one.
Ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba. Oh no!
Oh, Aelinor. Just
She's still
This
yelling.
is the
Travis.
point. This is the point. This is your 6th week at sea. You're just annoyed. There's no snow. It's hot. It's hot. There's great, rations and fish again. Like this is not the environment that Aelinor imagines spending her time, and is just fucking pissed. Just like mad about it. It's like, Aelinor, can I help you? Can you help with this? Like, fine, I guess.
And I just do it. Like,
Yeah.
I don't help, I just take over.
Yeah. Which is, like, worse. Yeah. Hey, guess what I need you to do? Another one of those rolls.
Your tempting fate. Oh, my dice. Oh, my dice stopped on a 1 for a second. It's scary.
Hey, that was a really good week. You actually cut a huge amount of time.
Yeah.
So you actually end up getting there. All right, let me do a little bit of brain math. In just over 7 weeks, you get the wind. Maybe you're getting used to it. Maybe it's the wind. Maybe it's a little prayer finally being heard. But when you get the wind, it's only a matter of days before you head towards Estana. And you see it on the map as a tiny little island, and you get very close before you see it. Like, if I only have a landmass, you'd get there much closer. But you actually see the height of this island before the breadth of it. Because you see an island littered with metal towers, metal and concrete towers, on a little rocky island of nothing, with ships going back and forth, and almost seems like a cloud of airized dirt around the island. And the sea is a little gloomy around it as you approach. The rain tastes wrong, and you start to dock at the elvish city of Estana. But we'll talk more about that next week. Right.
Whew.
Yeah. That wasn't that bad.
Sea of Thieves is a learning experience, was what we've learned.
Yes! That's pretty funny, right?
I was wondering what you were going to do from up on the rigging, and then as soon as you were like, can I see the anchor? I'm like, you motherfucker.
So you know what's funny? It's actually nearly the Ivory Month. It's nearly the end of the year.
Ooh.
You're currently the people furthest ahead in the Jarviskjir timeline.
Boats.
Boats. Yeah, boat travel, right? And you didn't do amazing, but you got some air in the end. So, why don't we end the session off with the Circle of Shame? Dungeon Dad, who are you? How are you? What do you like to do?
Good. I am right as rain, or wrong as rain. In
Rain
this
is wrong.
situation. Yeah, this is exciting. I'm happy that we're playing again. It was only 2 weeks, but
It felt like a lot more than 2 weeks.
it felt like a way
Felt
more
like
than 2 weeks.
ages, yeah.
I don't know why that is, but it's good. Anyways, I am Josiah, also known as Dungeon Dad. I have a YouTube channel. I make videos about D&D there. Primarily videos about monsters from old versions of the game and other games, and just like wherever, really. History,
Monsters.
video game, movies. Yeah, just obscure monsters. That's kind of my deal. And then I make stat blocks so you can actually use them in 5th edition and tell you about them. The most recent video was with a Murska, which is a bad time. It's a giant beetle. It eats your friends and then looks like your friends, but it's not actually your friend. Yeah, it's like a
Okay.
shapeshifter, but it has to eat the thing that it wants to shapeshift into.
That's
And
horrifying.
then it shapeshifts into them by its outer shell, just kind of grows into like a
Ugh.
mockery of that creature, and it gets some of its traits, but not really. The biggest thing with them, though, you'll have to watch the video to find out.
Yay!
There is a sci-fi story called Therein Lies the Wub that basically has the wub as this form that does exactly that.
I mean,
You know,
it made me think of like skinwalkers, you know?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
Yeah,
Still
they're kind of like skinwalkers that are bad at skinwalking because they could never pass as what they're trying to be. They just kind of look like it as like almost an afterthought. And if they eat something that's intelligent, it's unfortunate because then they become intelligent, but they lose the traits of the thing they ate when they shed their skin, which takes like a week or so.
It's iZombie!
Yeah, but
Yeah.
this is the thing, right? If you're a terrible cannibalistic monster and you eat something and you become intelligent, you're aware of what you are now, and you're aware of how you need to maintain your intelligence. So then you have to eat another intelligent thing in another week, or you just become a monster again. Therein lies the crux of the Murska. So I did
Therein
a
lies
video
the
about
wub.
that. You can go watch it. It's a good time on youtube.com/ Dungeon Dad.
Yeah.
That's me.
Aaron, who are you? How are you?
I'm good.
What are you
I'm Aaron.
playing on your Nintendo Switch device?
I'm still playing a lot of Pokemon because I'm trying to complete a living shiny dex, which will take me a long time.
Yeah, that'll take you like actually
playing
years.
Yeah, I'm like 70 hours in at this point. That's what I've been
At
doing.
least it's a
in
smaller
between work.
Pokedex.
It's true. Mhm.
Yeah.
That's why I decided to do it for this one. And that's it. I play here on Sundays. I occasionally play at other people's channels because I like D&D. So I'll see
Awesome.
you guys around.
And you're not here next week.
I'm not here next
So
week.
Eleanor's just being in like a big grumpy. We're just gonna leave
Big
Eleanor on the boat,
grumpy-
which isn't
More
even
of
a bad
gross.
idea because then you're like, well, we don't need to worry about the boat. Eleanor's on it, and she's got a sword.
Got a big old sword, and she blew up a centaur today, or not today, but like this session. So it's fine. She'll just blow up anybody who comes on board.
People like
Exactly.
board the ship. She just picks up the sword. They're like, oh nope, wrong ship.
Yeah, no. Especially it's a gnomish city. She's huge.
I like a group of pirates boarding a ship and then just being like, "Oh, sorry, wrong ship," as if you accidentally knocked on the wrong person's door. It's like, buddy, we're in the middle of the ocean.
That's like totally how it would go down. Tesh, what do?
Hi. I do stream. I also do YouTube. Both under the test tube. Same with my Twitter. You want to follow me there because I keep up to date on all the things I'm doing. And I'm starting to stream more now.
Yeah.
So if you like Destiny, Warframe, probably going to be doing a bit of Final Fantasy 14 because I'm doing a lot of that now. And RPGs. I love RPGs. Any of that stuff, that's what I'm streaming. So you should follow the Twitch. Otherwise, stay tuned to the Twitter, and I'll talk about all the games I'm doing, such as this one, and the Thursday one on Match Channel on the Dracovian Empire. And that's about it.
William. William.
Hi.
And I'm Ollie. You can find me here. I do D&D and Will. What's going on with your life?
No. I mean, you're good. I changed my. Twitch
I guess you're
That's
not streaming
pretty
and
much
you don't have any shows at the moment, so I guess actually I can
this
ignore
is-
you.
This is what I do right now. This and the Thursday show. I am not streaming basically for the next couple of weeks because I am almost done writing my first book, which is very cool. So I'm coming up to the conclusion of that.
I
Also
have been
sent
given some snippets, and I will say the book is cool. But you should really wait and see about the maps they're gonna have in it. Hoo-wee!
They are going to be. Something.
They're gonna be something.
Yeah.
Speaking
Who
about
did the
something,
maps, Ollie?
I'm something. Me, but I haven't done it yet. It's only been on my work pile for like 3 months.
3 months or so, and I did just send you new ones as well
Yeah.
yesterday at like
Yeah.
in like 1:40 in the morning.
That's a great move, honestly, to brag about something that you haven't done yet.
Yeah! I think it's a great idea.
Sake. Oh, who did them? Maybe in the future.
Future Ollie.
Future Ollie has a lot of shit to deal with.
Honestly, that's a good move. I'm gonna start
It's
doing
like editing Tesh. Editing Tesh hates recording Tesh.
Right?
That's why I don't edit anything anymore. The only thing I edit is the Monday podcast, and that's I'm going to take away the video. There it is. Done. Render, please.
The next time someone asks me how my YouTube channel is going, I'm gonna tell them it has 20,000 subscribers and be like, really good. And they'll be like, oh yeah, I'm like, oh well, future me, obviously. Like,
Look, just because I'm the number one biggest D&D stream on Twitch.tv partnered does not mean anything. But not yet, future Ollie. You can find the number one D&D streamer on Twitch, future Ollie, here in the future, hopefully not very far away, where I run this show. On Wednesdays, I run another Jarviskjir show. It's happening at the same time, and they're also... So, you guys are currently off the west coast of Jarviskjir. They're off the east coast, so that's pretty cool. That show with
maybe we'll meet
Doxy
in the middle.
and Dean and all that other stuff. And the other party are currently off their GPSs. Like in a horror movie where it's like, my phone doesn't know where it is. Also, like I said, there is a Monday podcast that you can get on Patreon for $5 a month. That's an extra D&D show for $5 a month. And all sorts of doodles, because I also am an artist sometimes, and I post stuff to the Patreon. There's also a Discord down below where you can talk about all the things that are going on in all the games, and I tweet stuff, and I'm going to finish Spyro 3 and probably stream some Smash Bros. Or Hitman later on in the month, and eventually I'm going to also play Pokemon Let's Go Eevee, because I chose Let's Go Eevee, because who the hell would choose Pikachu given the choice?
Aaron.
And that's me.
I have Eevee.
Aaron has Eevee, which is
Okay.
why I could make this joke.
Yeah.
I totally thought you had Pikachu for some reason. Well, that's good.
Yeah, exactly.
Good.
Aren't you guys just a delight with your switches?
That's a great bit of kit.
Eventually.
Don't show my IP address,
Yeah.
Switch.
With your credit card.
Yeah.
On today's episode.
Oh, right, I didn't finish
Nonsense.
buying this game.
Funnily enough, the last thing I did was pay for an online subscription, so there's like a non-zero chance if I tapped the A button 3 times, it would have been like, hey, here's your credit card info you just put in. Thanks. Also, can I have a little bit of a soapbox real quick? I have no respect for companies that say, hey, you can pay with PayPal, but then don't let you use your PayPal balance.
Thank you.
What
Oh my
the fuck?
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Oh,
Nintendo,
And by companies, you mean Nintendo, and by products, you mean the Switch, right?
there is another company that does it, and I don't remember what it is, and I'm mad about it. But
I
yes.
mean, I know a
Places
few,
that-
but yeah, it's so frustrating because Nintendo, what are you doing? Miyamoto, come on. I know you're watching this. You need to-
Big
You gotta
D&D
be watching
fan.
the #1 D&D streamer on Twitch.tv.
Yeah, one of the somewhere in Japan, Miyamoto's just like, oh,
Oh, I come here to get away from it all.
oh my god.
oh.
Alrighty. We'll be back next week. Same gnome time, same gnome channel. There we go. That's the joke we're ending with. Haha.
Ha!
Also, thank you to all the gift subs. I appreciate it a lot. You mean a lot to me. That's right, you. That's right.